Summer, I was supposed to teach for a month and a half English,
Right, I figured.
at like a government high school, and then last minute, literally my visa came the day after my flight, and they were just like, "LOL, just kidding, we're not gonna bring you anymore," because I guess the flights were just so expensive.
Oh man!
So my entire summer cleared up in like the span of a day, but it was so. The worst part was when I was like waiting, like after I had missed my flight and I got my visa. Mm-hmm. They kept me hanging on for like 4 or 5 days because they're like, we're going to try our best to get you. We're going to try our best. And then I was missing so many events without realizing because I had grouped them all in the I'm not going to be here this summer category. Right. So like my friend had invited me to her nikah at Isna. Yeah. And I was like, sorry, I can't go. Congratulations, whatever. Then I'm like on my bed, like depressed. And I'm going through my Instagram stories and everyone's snapping from the Ketbik tab. And I'm like, what? Why didn't I go? And I was like, oh yeah, like I'm
not in Turkey.
Yeah, I'm not in Turkey. And I didn't schedule this. I schedule everything in my calendar.
Isn't that funny? She's
everything.
Like, I don't even care to remember because I'm not going to be here.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not even going to try to kind of remember one of my friends was getting married because I'm not planning to be here. 100%. So that's not happening to me.
Oh my God, 100%. And then my siblings.
I want to live like you.
my siblings all went to like an open house Eid thing that one of our neighbors was throwing in the neighborhood, and my sisters went and helped with it, and they came back and they talked about it, and I was like, wait, that was today? Like that was also put in the same
That's interesting that you live your life that way. I like it. If it's not in my calendar, it's not.
It didn't happen.
100%. But then I was like, okay, there's a really high chance Turkey might not happen. So then I was like, I got invited to a wedding, and then I got added to Shade Festival, which is a really big comedy festival. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can say yes because like I might not be here in 2 days, but it was like happening end of the week. So then I just told them, I was like, you need to give me an answer because I can't live my life in this limbo. I was literally like on standby with both my bags packed, just like sitting.
Oh,
you know that meme where that girl's just like sitting dressed like waiting for someone to pick her up? That was me for like 5 days. Jeez. And my friends were like, Salma, let's go out. And I was like, you mean leave my house? And they're like,
these 2 luggage?
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, what if I just felt they were going to like dispatch a ticket at any minute and be like, you need to be in the airport in half an hour. And so I was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, let's just like go close to my house, like, go to Port Credit somewhere near my house. Yep. And then, you know how people are always like, oh, alhamdulillah, I got the call from Allah, like to go to Hajj and Umrah. Hold on. Literally, that's how I felt.
You hear this? You know, people are always like, I'm like, you get this call? Anyways, keep going. Tell me what these calls.
Literally, I was like, I felt like that. I was like, I'm waiting for the call to go to Turkey. Anyways, didn't end up happening. Like around Tuesday-ish, so I was supposed to leave on Thursday. I got my visa Friday, and then around Tuesday, that's when they told me it's probably not going to work out. And then I was so relieved at that point because I was like, now you know. Now I could start. Yeah, now I know I could settle my mind can settle somewhere. So then I started to like whatever book things in the summer and stuff. And so then I started doing comedy a lot. And comedy's like the second you do a show, somebody sees you on it, like, come do my show, blah, blah, blah. It's like basically positive feedback loop. Right. Like it just keeps happening more and more. So yeah, so that I've been doing a lot of comedy recently and stuff, which works out because I'm just like, yeah, I wouldn't.
That's why.
If I wasn't
that's
here.
why it was oddly easy to book you for the podcast. I was like, "Hey, can you make it this week?" And you're like, "Yeah, I got like 2 spots." I'm like, "Wait, what?
This whole month is empty."
I thought this was gonna be a fight.
Oh man, yeah, no, I'm taking it like week by week, which is pretty cool. For a while in the beginning, I had like no plans, like just nothing for like a week or 2 weeks.
You started like teaching random people English. They're like, we know English. You're like, nope.
I gotta get this out of me.
Yeah, I gotta get it out of me. Exactly. Anyways,
teach somebody.
Yeah, but then it worked out because Comedy Brawl, although I could have requested for a later date because they're doing like the quarterfinals all this month.
I heard about that.
Yeah, but then my round was I think like 2 days ago.
Did you know it was going to be at the Comedy Bar or
no? Okay, so they always have it at Fox and Fiddle.
I know. I've done this at the Fox and the Fiddle.
Yeah, and they have it in like the second and third floor. So I went there, and then they have like a plug-in mic. I was like, this is in my living room,
right?
Like we could just.
It's like something even you'd be like, no, we need to do better. You're
100%.
You can't say that for me. I was like, I always aim for the leading star.
One of the like the hosts in the second round, literally put a lamp like clipped it onto something, and
Yeah,
that
Home
was like
Depot.
the spotlight.
Yeah.
That was your first place when I came to watch you. There was
Yeah.
someone took like literally a hand lab from Home Depot and just
Yeah,
Put it right here. Put it right here, so you're squinting the whole time trying to be
100%,
funny.
and nobody can see you, and it's like, that was the second round. The first round was even worse because it was on the third floor, and it was smaller space, and everybody brought like maybe 3 to 4 people, so there was like an okay crowd.
Right.
The second round, nobody brought anybody, and so, but I brought all my friends,
There you
so
go.
it was just all
We gonna
Muslims
win.
again. Yeah, it was just all Muslims again. And then the third round, which was the one that just happened, they did it in, so this is now the quarterfinals, which is how they're advertising it too. So that was at Comedy Bar, and it was in the big room. So there was like over 80 people, because it was like everybody seated, at least like 80 people, and then there's like between 15 to 20 people standing and going in and out and stuff. So it was crazy.
And not a
I
huge
didn't
brown
know.
following either.
No, I would say from my friends, like around 12 people came.
That's dope.
probably.
Yeah.
So it was just a room filled with strangers.
Okay.
And it was, sorry.
No. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just like, Comedy Brawl. Someone want to catch me up?
It's like a comedy competition.
Okay.
You bring your friends, you tell some jokes,
Okay.
and then at
So-
the end they like do a winner by applause.
Oh, really?
No. No, you go.
The one I did was a winner by applause.
Yes. It's okay. So the whole competition starts off with like 400 comedians.
Holy.
Like
Right.
everybody joins this.
Everybody
then-
and their uncle.
Yeah, literally everyone. People come from
Cam
really
H,
far.
no joke. I had like 2 guys from Cam H that I went up against once. I was like, this is gonna, and they were just rambling. They were just talking about the government and mind control, and it was
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it gets better as it goes up.
Yeah, so then, and you can bring a lot of your friends in the beginning, and then basically at the end of I think 8 comedians go up, and then at the end of the night, every person there votes for their top 3. So you rank them 1, 2, 3.
Gotcha.
And then at the end,
went
the
to one of
top
those.
4
Okay.
advance. Then they calculate it, whatever, the top 4 advance.
Right.
And then that keeps going on. But then in the quarterfinals, instead of 8 comedians performing, we were 10 comedians performing, and instead of the top 4 advancing, only the top 3 advanced. Yeah, so that was I was surprised at that, because they said top 4 everywhere, like on the Facebook event and the email, but then they were like only the top 3 advancing.
You went full
Anyway,
activist.
so it was.
You were like, you can't tell me lies.
Yeah.
And then expect me to be funny.
It's in the fine print. Yeah. No, it was at the end where
Throw
we
a rock
found
at
out.
them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then the winner, like the first place winner of the night, gets a cash prize, like $30, $50, something like that.
Okay.
But and then I think at the end, the real like first place winner gets $1,000 or something. But it's all about the title. Like I don't.
Yeah,
think,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mashallah, yeah.
But basically like so then that night was crazy, because okay, I'm gonna explain to you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So first of all, in the beginning, you come in, this is true for every round, and you have to draw a card or draw a paper, and that's your order for the night, which is makes such a big difference, because like if you go first versus if you go like in the middle versus if you go at the end, like it depends so much. The audience is usually like tired towards the end, kind of already made up their mind.
Right.
If you go first, like the crowd is super tense, so it's like it really depends on your luck.
You like the middle spot?
Yeah, I like the middle spot. I like early middle. So then I got 5th, which out of 10, which was pretty
Perfect.
good. And then there was an intermission after. The first comedian to go up was a clown. Like he's a fully
That's what I'm talking about.
like he's fully dressed.
He's literally a clown.
No, he's literally a clown. Like, this is not a metaphor.
You made Yassine laugh so hard. He skipped laughter, went straight to coughing.
Yeah.
He goes, what?
Like he was physically a clown.
Yeah.
His name was Sketchy the Clown.
Did he
So-
have, like balloons and everything?
No balloons, but he had
Just blowing up balloons, saying like, "What do you want? A snake?" And he just
Yeah.
throwing shit at you. That'd be the best.
Okay, so his entire set, so he goes up first,
Yeah.
okay? And I was like, I need to see this. So
Yeah.
I go to the end of I love watching other comedians, especially when I don't know what they're going to do,
really?
whatever,
Yeah.
for sure. So I sit at the back. I'm watching him with another comic who's also up. And this is his entire set, okay? He just goes up to random audience members. He's like, "You, sir, have you ever eaten shit?" And they're like, "What?" And he's like, they're like, "No." And he's like, "Have you ever turned a doorknob at a fast food restaurant or whatever?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Congratulations, you've eaten shit." And he throws them a bag of something. I'm really far
Yeah.
back, so I can't see.
You don't
right?
even know what he's throwing.
Yeah, something symbolic of like shit. Okay. Then he does this to almost every audience member, to the point where I was like, no, he's getting too close. But like he goes, "You, sir, have you ever what did he say? Have you ever like eaten at a fast food restaurant? Yeah, congratulations, you've eaten shit. Goes someone, you sir, do you have kids? Yeah, congratulations, you've eaten shit. Then it starts getting super inappropriate. He's like, you sir, have you ever like performed oral sex? And then like, I don't know what the answer is, but he was like, congratulations, you've eaten shit. And then he'll be like, you sir, do you have a grandma? And they're like, yeah. Is she? And he's like, she's dead. He's like, oh, okay. When she was alive, did she ever kiss you? Yeah. Do you think she's ever done oral sex? It was so bad. He just kept giving it out to everyone, and everyone's so uncomfortable, right? And then
the commitment.
Oh my God, that was his whole set. And then at the end, he was just like, thanks so much. He for sure did like less than the time, and then got off.
Sketchy, is it? In case you want to check out Sketchy?
Yeah, Sketchy the Clown. And so then the second comedian goes up, third comedian goes up, fourth comedian goes up, and then I'm after them, right? So I'm going there, and then I'm like preparing, and then right before I go up, I talked to like two of the comedians, and I asked them, I was like, okay, I'll come back to this later. But then anyway, so I go up there, and I do my set, and the crowd's amazing, like everyone's so into it, whatever. And then there's this one part in my set where I do a hijab bit, okay? But before I start it...
I like that you have a hijab bit.
Yeah.
That's my hijab bit.
Oh, no, it's like the best part of my set, for sure.
Right.
So before I start it, usually I pick on a white man, and I ask him, what's your name, blah, blah. And then I'm like, do you know the name of what I'm wearing on my head, what it's called, right? That's how I start my bit. Right. So I go up to like the guy in the front row. I was like, hi, what's your name? He's like, Tony. I was like, Tony, I have a question for you. Have you ever eaten shit? Literally, the entire room just died. Like, just lost it to the point where they laughed so hard to the point where like every other laugh I've ever received in my life just does not matter. And also really showed me that I'm not a good comedian because like these are the laughs that I should be getting. But like right before going up, I talked to the host and I talked to another comedian who had gone up, and I was like, do you think they'll remember? Have you ever eaten shit? And they were like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, because like if I was the second or third comedian, they would for sure remember. But I'm like the fifth one. It's probably escaped their memory at this point.
I like how you have so little faith in the audience.
Yeah.
Like, are these people- I'm gonna remember Sketchy the Clown for like a couple years.
Yeah, right.
That's what everyone later told me. I was like, I didn't know if people would remember it. They're like, it's hard to forget. Like,
jeez,
yeah, but then the host was like, yeah, I think they will like do it. And then the other comedian, she was like, yeah, I mean, I want to see you do it. And I was like, you know what? I was like,
Comics love saying that. I want to see you do it.
Yeah.
Comics say that to each other about everything.
Totally. So I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll do it. If they don't remember, it's fine. Like I can still fall back on the rest
Your
of my
jokes,
set, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I was comfortable doing it and just crickets.
Right.
But then when it was the opposite, I was like, what is this? So literally that's what made me win first place. Like
That's awesome.
Nothing else in my set mattered.
You should somehow like campaign for getting Sketchy on your next show.
Right.
Just have him go first. You go fifth. Stardom.
Totally.
It's like from here on out, it's like a duo
It's
that
me and
nobody knows
Sketchy.
about.
Yeah. It's a behind the scenes conspiracy comedy.
No, it could happen.
Oh,
it could
man.
happen. That's awesome. Same
Yeah.
exact room. We had a guy. I went with Omer, and we had a guy pull a knife out.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
you told me
which
this
was
before.
hilarious because he's just
When she was taking the Sketchy's bit,
Yeah,
I was thinking about the knife bit.
Yeah. I was like, this room is. I saw Ian Edwards in that room, but nobody pulled a knife out. But it's a good room. It's a good room.
Yeah. It's Comedy Bar is so great because now I'm like, I feel like I'm in an actual
Bar.
comedy,
Like, scene.
comedy
Scene?
venue or
Venue?
whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like because the sounding and everything, and then the lights, and it's very different.
No
than the
more
living room.
friggin' construction flashlight in your head.
Yeah.
Home
totally.
Depot bulbs right in your
Yeah.
head. Are you? So you're on this Alicia Keys tip.
Alicia Keys.
I don't know what this means.
You're not wearing any makeup when you're going out.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh,
I like how it's just like, hey, you're like Alicia Keys.
I
Not wearing
actually
any.
Yeah, because
thought
no,
of that.
Alicia Keys did that. That's a big thing that Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
apart from the fact
she
that
went to
you know.
like the red carpet or something big, like without any makeup.
She even went to a couple night shows,
Oh,
like late
okay,
night
okay.
shows and stuff like that. No makeup.
Yeah. I did that for like a couple of weeks. I was just like, I don't care anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care, but I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. What do you guys? And then like, and then comedians are like always super dressed down.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, so I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like I'm one of you now.
Yeah.
Like I just but yeah, it's like I was like, do I have self confidence? Like, can I do this? And then I don't know. It's like also like a loop where when you don't wear makeup, your skin and everything starts to get better anyways,
Right.
because you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then
We don't.
yeah,
But
because
we
we're-
I can
we will-
imagine.
we will-
I
yeah,
can
I guess
imagine.
it makes sense.
Right,
Yeah.
you're putting stuff on your face, covering it, can't
Yeah,
breathe
yeah,
as a
yeah.
result. So that was it. You just was like, you figured you'd just
yeah,
challenge
I was
yourself.
like, I'm just gonna.
Go
But
out.
then, and then, yeah, I recorded and stuff too. Because usually I was like, oh, if you're recording, then you should like whatever have makeup on and stuff like that. Because you potentially you would send this or put this up
Yeah,
online or whatever. But then I was just like, whatever. This is who I am. You guys have been spoiled for too long.
I wish you could bottle the sketchy thing. There's no way you can capture that on video.
Okay, so my friend recorded
Perfect.
my whole thing.
Did she get any sketchy from
No,
earlier? Okay.
but that's the thing. Like, if I put this online, which I probably will,
Yeah.
but nobody's gonna understand it because like the line itself, "Have you ever eaten shit?" Like, what does this mean? But
Right.
You know, you
it
need
was such
sketchy.
an inside joke with the crowd
Right.
because of sketchy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which also works so well because it's an inside joke. They're like, yeah, we get you. Like there was
Exactly.
there was a level of bonding.
What if people think you're like the shit comic? Yeah, she has all these great shit jokes. I saw this clip. People love it when she makes shit humor.
They die.
And then you're like, I gotta write more shit jokes.
I know. That's literally my first time saying shit on stage, and it was like I had to do it. Oh my god.
Yeah, man.
Then he came up to me later and he was like,
Hey, you stole my thunder, asshole.
Yeah, he
He's
was-
like mad about it.
he
He's
was like-
that's my joke. You stole my joke.
he was like, that was amazing, and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know if I was gonna offend you.
Clown.
Is he still in makeup too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry to offend you. Oh god, just wrote something.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then somebody else came to me yesterday who was at the brawl the day before and was like, I bet all those comedians after were standing there being like, damn, I should have used them like second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. No one used that callback.
Yeah, but I don't know if they had a place to like use it
Stick
or
it in, yeah.
or yeah,
People-
I guess even if they just did
People
it.
generally are like, this is my set. I'm really
Yeah.
excited. I'm at the comedy bar.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Selma's like, I'll make fun of that clown's jokes.
Because also
Such a
done the
great-
comedy.
such a
I
great
did that
thing.
set so many times where you're just like, okay, now I'm a little bored. Like, how can I spice this up or
right.
whatever? But the idea came to me when I was watching him do it over and over and over again,
Yeah.
and I was like, I feel like I could use this. And then yeah, that's the thing. So a lot of the comedians don't watch the show. They sit in the green room or
Right.
they sit outside. And they're always on their phone and stuff, right? But I love watching the show because I'm like, there's so many, every show is like its own story. Like there's so many things happening and unfolding in front of you that the whole room is learning. And if they ask like there's always someone from like out of town or from the UK, from Australia, from this and that, whatever. And then like the crowd is learning this. And then if somebody comes up on stage now and is like, where are you from? Everyone's like,
We already know this. That's
Yeah.
from Newfoundland. That's Derek.
exactly.
Yeah, we
Were
made
you
fun of
not-
his pants already.
Exactly. Were you not paying attention? Like all these things. So
Oh, that's awesome.
you can use these
yeah,
things
yeah.
like
Yeah.
to your advantage, or at least at the very least I could just go up and be like, oh, like I don't know, Max or whatever, because I already know his name from it's.
Do you
it's
get
been
ever
said.
secondhand embarrassment, which is like when somebody else is performing and they're having a bad time?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
in my I start sweating and my
Yeah,
chest
yeah,
starts
yeah.
going where I'm like, this is so embarrassing for me watching
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's the only time like I stop watching people. When I feel like anxiety
When they're
of
bombing.
how badly they're doing. I'm
Yeah.
like, I gotta go up in a minute. I don't need this right now. That's the only time I don't watch.
Yeah, well, if I'm going up after, it's hard for me to watch, but like usually like immediately after, but usually I like to watch them because I want to see, and especially if like there's really well-known comedians, I'm like, okay, I really want to check them out because I want to see what their material is.
Yeah, yeah.
I just know people buy their material now.
Right.
Especially if they're white male comics. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. And then they go up and I'm like, oh yeah, I do. Like, yeah.
Cats, you're like, I can remember now.
Exactly.
You have a cat.
Exactly. Otherwise, like, it's
That's
so
true
hard.
though.
Yeah.
That's true.
They do seem generic.
But then
I mean,
everyone-
they look generic.
It's tough being a white comic sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not in the sense that you'll get a lot more spots, but I'm like, man, it's so hard for you to stand out from
stand
that
out.
other guy named Chris.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
Gotta
It's
hit
just
that up.
like, and your jokes are similar. It's about skateboarding.
Right.
Yeah, but then they all like remember me. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I seen you at this, I seen you at that," and then they make me feel even worse for not remembering them. I'm like, but then also I'm in a hijab. Like, how many other?
There's one
Right.
of me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, two,
There's
probably.
Udo, yeah, but
Yeah.
she's doing
Oh, wait,
bigger
yeah, yeah.
things.
The funny thing is, like, we tried to get Hudo on. She got busy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Yasin's still like, there's only one of you. I was like, we talked to this other girl like a minute ago.
I
Yeah.
mean, Yeah, she's
She
awesome.
didn't come on though.
But she come on.
She's doing Just for Laughs Montreal.
She just did Just for Laughs.
Yo.
Who those like crazy in the
killing
sense
it.
where she's killing it, but so silently. Like
Yeah.
she's not like me. I'm like, oh my god, like I have 2 shows in a row. What am I going to post everywhere?
On Instagram,
Emails
everyone
Trudeau,
knows.
like totally everything.
Did you email Trudeau?
Versus her. No, I just
Did you email Trudeau?
That would be so great.
Hudo, I knew Hudo because I saw her 4 nights in a row.
What?
At
Oh.
3 different places.
Jeez, man.
And I was like,
Was she always
this
going on
girl-
before you?
Yo, this girl was putting in proper
Putting in
work.
time, yeah.
Just the way how she holds that mic.
She's so great.
Yo, she's energy. She's
Yeah.
so confident.
Yeah,
and she's
yeah,
like
yeah.
holding her
it always
not a
slides
hijab.
down.
It's
It
like
always
a,
slides
down. Yeah,
like
yeah.
a butt like a brown
She wears
person.
it like so she'll always
so
like
it's always falling because
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and she's super like active.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
one of those
man.
UFC fights UFC fighters have
Yeah,
really
have hair
long
in their
hair,
head.
and they keep like, "Yo, you can't get rid of it. It's part of me." So I
Yeah.
gotta keep doing this in
No.
between punches.
Yeah,
Hudo's a
yeah.
tank.
Damn.
Oh
Tiny
yeah,
too.
All right.
And she like opened for Gina Yashri at Just for Laughs, just so casually. I didn't even know she did until I saw like Gina posted on her
Right.
Instagram. And yeah, she's like killing it everywhere. Winnipeg Comedy Festival, all that stuff. But like,
Mashallah.
she basically never posts about it, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, but how?
Well,
You could
should.
probably teach a few people a few things. Here,
Yeah.
you know what? Do this. I know the
No.
turkey thing got canceled, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's kidding. Find
But
some
I don't
comics.
think, but I don't think she wants to. Like that's
No,
the thing.
she wants to just comics are bad at this.
just don't know how to
Generally
do it.
speaking, comics are bad at marketing themselves.
Yeah.
They're good at writing jokes, they're good at like getting up there.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, horrible at marketing themselves.
But then it's like I don't know. Is it worth it to market yourself if everyone in the industry knows who you are, and then eventually like
The
you
answer
can make
is
it
yes.
big? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
the answer is it's
Yes,
still
all the
very
time.
much
It's always
worth
yes.
marketing yourself.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It'll get you places a bit faster. Can't
True.
hurt.
No,
True,
yeah,
yeah.
you always want to build an audience.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for almost everything. Even
Yeah.
if you have like a startup, if you already have an audience,
Yeah.
it helps the startup. Like even if you just whatever.
It's true.
Which,
Yeah.
which, by the way, you are killing. I love the rants.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
You
love the
can go
rants.
into
Always,
it.
always like once when I look on your Instagram and it's like
Dot, dot,
6
dot.
dashes
Yeah, you're
or 7
like-
dashes, I'm like, all right, wait, hold on a second. Wait,
Yeah,
no,
get
just
the
turn-
headphones.
Get the headphones. I've done that. And I was like, oh, there's a post. I gotta get in a meeting room to listen to this
Yeah.
one.
Oh my god.
I've had to do that a few times.
Yeah, I haven't been doing that much. Actually, it's a great place to test out like new bits or new material.
Comedy bar?
No, like doing
Instagram rants.
doing Instagram
Oh,
rants.
really? Okay, I didn't
Because
think
if
about
there's
that.
like a lot of responses, I'm like, oh, okay, and they'll like certain parts better than other parts,
Yeah.
which I thought like this part would have been better.
Yeah.
But then like and then I'll be like, okay, now let me do this and like. And,
That's so true. If you break it down in 6 pieces, and then after
Yeah.
on like number 4, you're getting the most hit, like the most, like,
Exactly.
oh my god, you killed me right here.
Yeah, yeah,
then you're
yeah.
like, all right, so this is strong. Then you start. Okay, that's.
You watch
that's
Fahim
great.
Unver ever on Instagram? He's a comic out in California. He was in Tango, Foxtrot, whatever, with Tina Fey.
Oh no, I
But
haven't.
this guy just puts up, like he'll be in his living room and he'll just put up a bit he came up with.
Yeah.
And he'll be multiple characters and shit.
Yeah.
And then I've seen him do it in his stand up and I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
it's
He's in love
really
right
good.
now.
I watch his stuff constantly. Plus he's like, he'll put something out every single day.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like he'll go
That's
like
how
grocery shopping.
And
You're
I'll
getting
put
something about cucumbers.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Isn't it great though to see like the process in which it comes to formation?
That's the only reason I really love like Jerry Seinfeld's show, Comedians Coffee, because
Yes,
it's just
yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
what's your process?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
like
Oh,
one guy
man.
will be like, I don't write anything. I've
Yeah.
never written a damn thing. Like
Yeah.
a lot, and some guys are like, I sit down and write all of it, and then I listen to all of it, and then I make like a full grid of what is most economical. And other people are like, no, I just put it in here and I just get up there and say it. I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Biggie
yeah.
Smalls.
I think yeah, or Jay-Z or whatever.
Yeah.
Never write anything. Yeah, I do like the comedians. It's
I
such a
just started
it's,
watching it.
it's such a nerd
Yeah.
show
If you
for
like
nerd
comedy.
comedians, like
Yeah.
like a comedy nerd. Man, it's so great.
The
I
Dana
just told you-
Carvey one was the one you told me about. Where like Dana Carvey is a comic from the 80s. He still, does comedy and whatnot. But he was like, this is my joke. And Jerry's like, I don't think you can start here. I think you have to start
Yeah,
here.
which was
and I was like,
surprising.
Yeah.
it was just cool to see like two comics to like take a premise and
Yeah.
go at it
and
completely
actually work on it right there.
Yeah.
And the thing is that like a couple of times when you watch that episode, Dana did that before, like it happened as well. But it was other comedians where they would say something and then Seinfeld will be like, and then he will remix it immediately there. And it's so much better.
Yeah,
That his
yeah, yeah.
little tweak, he's like, put this in front of the other thing.
Oh my God,
Or he had one
100%.
about like thin spoons.
Yeah.
Thin spoons and forks. And like he's like, it's not actually the joke, but it's you can use it as a padding
Yeah.
for you to jump into another joke. And the way how he did it is so masterful. What he's talking about is I had to break up with a girlfriend and I got brought her to a restaurant. It was a thin spoon restaurant. Like the way how he used it was like that actually was really
that's
funny.
So Seinfeld style. Yeah.
So good.
Oh man, and honestly, my favorite thing in the entire world, I mean, it's different getting it from professional comedians and stuff, but is doing joke workshops. So it's usually with other comedians. There's only like 2 of them downtown. There's one every Tuesday, Joke Marmalade. Basically, you go and for 3 minutes you say, so it's usually a bit.
Yeah.
This is not enough time to do a set.
Right.
So 3 minutes you do your bit, and then for a minute, the audience, the rest of the audience, which is just comedians, give you taglines, and they'll tell you like say this, blah blah blah. But then it's just taglines, so they won't say stuff like, oh, maybe you should move this around here,
Right.
maybe you should do that, or talk a little bit more about this.
Yeah.
But I found it to be so helpful because even when they're giving feedback to other comedians, sometimes it'll like open up something in your mind, and you'll be
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I want to write about something
Right.
with my joke about this or whatever. And then if they give you taglines, majority of the time you reject like 95% of them, but one of them you're like, oh, maybe I could work with this a little bit more. And I found that to be the most helpful part
100%.
of the Second City class that we took. Was the
Second City
feedback.
actually has now a drop-in stand-up thing you do.
Oh, nice.
And it's not a drop-in just so you can do 3 or 5 minutes. You do your time, and then the producer, I think is Joel Buxton.
Okay.
He actually goes over with you like, hey, you could have gone here with this. And,
Okay,
and it's
okay.
actually very helpful. One advice Fouad actually gave me was when you watch even an open mic or professional do a set,
Yeah.
try to come up with a punchline before they get there.
Oh, wow.
And then if you feel like you come up with a better punchline, like you can re-engineer the joke completely.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sometimes it works really well. But yeah, you're right. It's really cool to be in these like think tanks
Yeah.
kind of situations. You don't have them for other like artistic endeavors, but for stand-up, it works really well.
Yeah.
Super cool, man.
And then
Lady Marmalade?
Joke Marmalade.
Joke Marmalade. That makes more sense. All right. Like, wait.
Yeah.
It's from like Moulin Rouge? Like that? But
No,
jokes?
yeah, Joke Marmalade, and that happens every Tuesday night at another bar, which is like across from Comedy Bar, and it's just like all like straight white men though. So I'm
You
just
ever
like,
catch any other hijabis at shows?
no, it's just Hudo that I know of,
Yeah.
and
I feel like if anyone else enters the game, any
I
other
would know her
hijabi,
right away.
yeah,
I'd
they
be
would
like-
even reach out. They
yeah,
would,
yeah,
like,
like
hey,
help me out or whatever.
help me
and I'd
out.
be like, oh my, come here, my prodigy. Like, totally. Yeah, but there's other Muslims though.
Yeah, Muslim guys are very common now.
Yeah,
like
even girls.
there's one every show.
Yeah, there's one every show for sure.
I know because sometimes there's like we already got one. I've been told that once.
Yeah.
And, like we also already have Hassan Ali coming on. Have you seen his material? They were literally trying to see if our materials were same because they were above brown.
Hassan Ali or Ali Hassan?
I don't know. I was making up a generic
Okay,
brown name
okay.
on this one.
I
Sorry.
was like, I know that. I know him. Yeah. Oh man.
that's how generic it was, bro. Well
Yeah.
done.
There was a show I did on Sunday at Comedy Bar. It was me, Hisham Kaladi, Noor Hadidi, Rahul Sheikh, and we're all Muslim. We're four Muslims.
Nice.
And there was like maybe 7 comedians.
That's dope.
So yeah, Noor was the second last one to go, and she was like, "Look at all the Muslims on this show.
Yeah, man.
Welcome to your conversion." Like, it's just
Repeat after me.
totally. But yeah, it's fun times.
That's awesome. I'm glad Comedy Bar's around. It's like Absolute is way up north. It's a different environment. Comedy Bar seems like the
Yeah.
perfect place for me. I don't know. I feel like it has the best environment out of most places in Toronto.
Absolute and Yuck is more. I don't know. Like you have to be signed with them. It's
I don't
so
like Yuck
competitive to
Yucks.
get
I'll
in.
say it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't like their whole setup. I feel like they're. No, I'm not gonna say excluding. It's just not friendly. I don't like it. Comedy Bar just feels like a dorm room or something.
Yeah,
where it's just
yeah.
like a lot of things just flying around.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, jump in this room.
Yeah, it's so
it's just
true.
lesbians. Jump in this room. We're like, all right, cool. You know, like.
It is Absolute more of like it's more geared towards the audience. Like it's more fun to be an audience because you get like the cool food,
It's just
small
less
tables.
happening. I feel like,
Yeah?
yeah, it's fun. I think it's a more polished of a place
Right.
than
Yeah.
other places.
Is
But
it
it's
like
like way up north.
It's just
Like,
too far away. But like what I mean to say is that like I'm assuming there's some level of hierarchy. Like is it like you graduate, you
don't
go
know.
over there, you hit
Do
it
you
up,
feel like
you
a
get
hierarchy?
paid more?
Oh yeah, I think that like the best you can probably do in Toronto is like headline Yucks or Absolute
Yeah.
for a week or something.
Right, okay.
That
That's
would
like
be-
the best you could do.
Some Arthur Simeon kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It
Yeah,
was,
Arthur Simeon is so
Man,
great.
he's
man.
so good.
Yeah, yeah, he's like, so there's basically
me.
and then after that, so you could be like Arthur, where he'll have his own theater shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people come see him, but you have to have like an hour and a half worth of material at
Yeah.
that point,
Yeah.
and you have to be good.
I've seen him do an hour. It's
Yeah.
hard to do an hour.
Yeah. Oh, really,
Even at
eh?
his level, yeah, it gets tiring at an hour. It gets tiring after like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have like, it takes a while to develop an hour.
It's got to be like when you start watching that, you start really respecting the guys at the very top.
You can have an hour of material, but to like think of like a full start to finish a good set.
Yeah,
it's-
a good story is
It
hard.
can't just be stitched together like
Yeah.
this good 30 minutes and good 20 and a good 10.
Exactly, it becomes so different.
Yeah, it's a different ball game.
The best like running laughs all the way through was Bill Burr for me. Because we've seen Louis C.K., we've seen like a bunch of comedians, Kevin Hart, all that stuff. But when Bill Burr came, this was 2 specials ago, so one of his funniest specials that he
Yeah.
ever put out. He did a 1 hour and like 25-30 minutes, and he just kept going. And like from the beginning, from where he starts all the way till the end, it's just like ride high the entire
Really?
time. Yeah, and it wasn't just like, because by that time I wasn't like that wasn't my first comedy thing, so like it wasn't like I was just overwhelmed by the whole like being there or whatnot.
yeah.
So like I was kind of like, or I already knew like how to feel about it and all this other
Yeah.
stuff, but I was the second row.
Yeah.
My God, that guy does, like, he grips and then he brings it all the way, and he had like specific bits for Canada.
Yeah.
that was very good.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he had like hockey bits, he had food stuff, and a bunch of other like Canadian, very very Canadian centric bits.
Yeah.
But it felt like he was been working on that for a while too.
Yeah.
Because he like just the delivery of it is almost just like flippant. He's like,
Yeah.
I know you're gonna laugh about this.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
It's one of those things where like I'm like, because I thought I was only gonna get 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Really, I only thought I was gonna get 50 minutes, and then
Yeah.
it would be like, that's it, because like the opener, there's like 3 openers
Yeah.
and whatnot. But no, he just
Freaking
kept on
opener.
That
going.
was like that was like Chris Rock when I saw him in November. He literally did 2 hours.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The whole thing was 3 hours.
Jeez.
I was like, wow. I thought it was gonna be like
Did he do
Ali
the
Wong and them.
tambourine special?
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
tambourine
Okay, okay.
special. And so he had one joke in there. This was the only one that was specific to Canada, but that got him the most laughs.
Yeah.
It was his bit about people say God doesn't make mistakes. And they were like, God, he's like, God makes mistakes. And he says, like, have you ever seen a porcupine? Like, what is that? Can't hug it, can't this, not whatever. He goes on and on.
Yeah.
And then he's like, people say God doesn't make mistakes. God makes mistakes. Like, he keeps repeating it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, I was driving by a place today called Oshawa. And just like everyone lost it because, like, you know, Canada specific joke. But that's what I feel like I have to do for the UK when I go, which like
Have you been looking up like UK material?
I don't
You
know
guys
what.
drive on the wrong like.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at, because there are different cities. There are like 12 different cities that we're going to, and so
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like, okay, what's like the stereotype about each one? Like, for example, you know, we have stereotypes about Brampton versus
Yeah, yeah.
Oakville versus
Right.
like stuff like that. So I'm trying to, but it's hard to like pre-prepare that stuff. But you should pre-prepare it. I don't know. I was like talking to my friends about how do you connect with the audience, because that's something that I was really lacking in the beginning. I still really am, because it's scary. Like, it's scary it's a lot of improvisation and a lot of like catering to the crowd and,
Right.
and the specific areas. And if you just do jokes about things that you know really well, then this becomes really uncomfortable, because like you don't know it
Yeah.
very well, and also you're being asked to like make jokes specifically about this. So I don't know. Like I'm probably gonna like go on YouTube. I don't know how to like learn about talk to people from there. I have no idea.
I
This is
think
what
so.
you
I
do.
mean, sorry,
You
go
go
ahead.
to chat roulette, right? You go to chat roulette.
Jeez,
You know
that
what
is
that is?
dangerous.
No,
That
I
is
have
super
no
dangerous.
idea.
Let me have this. So you go to chat roulette. It's a website.
I feel like I'm about to be.
You make a profile.
Yeah.
Salma Hindy. And you can talk to strangers from different parts of the world. Now,
no
I don't think
way.
it lets you select exactly, but maybe it does. And you can go on
Oh,
there, and
thank
it's just these single serving conversations. After you finish the conversation, you'll never see this person again. So you can have like a full conversation about whatever. Like, I've been on there, like on Omegle, which is a very similar thing. It's a guy like that's from Serbia.
Yeah.
And you'll just start talking to a Serbian about like random things. And at any point, you can click a button and just go to the next random person.
What?
I've talked to like
Are people bored? Is this
Germans.
live?
I've talked to a neo-Nazi. I talked to a guy from Israel. I talked to like random brown guys, exchange students on an oil rig.
Oh wow.
It's fun. It's also a great way
these
to get
conversations-
material.
Wow.
Yeah,
And these
yeah, yeah.
conversations are saved, or like where
No,
do they go?
not unless they're recording it somehow.
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to be.
Oh my God.
They're not like the servers and whatnot. No.
There is a lot of guys jerking off on the service.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yo, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
That being said, they apparently like worked out some new like, algorithms
to watch out for.
Yeah, so it's automatically searching for that type of stuff and it's just shutting it down.
All right,
Wait,
that's
but
good.
it's chat conversations, right?
Yeah.
Like no
Yeah, yeah.
video.
No, it's
Okay,
video.
okay.
It's video.
Oh, it's video.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is a little scary for
Yeah.
me.
Some
It's a
people
little
will
too
do
much.
this, turn the lights off on their side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's just better if you could just have a conversation.
Right.
I've seen people do things. It's funny.
That's so creepy.
That is a very
One
weird
dude
way
had
to do it.
a big ass cucumber. Me and my buddy, and this guy had a cucumber on the screen.
Uh-huh.
And he was just nodding, and we were like, no. And he's like, yes. And he stood up and he bent over, like, skip.
Oh my God.
But like one guy, we had like a full like geopolitical conversation about Turkey and
Yeah.
his small town, and
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a couple of videos online too. It was like, look at this heartwarming video. It was between like, I think it was like a white girl and an Iraqi military person,
Yeah.
and they were just trying to make each other laugh, but they can like one spoke English, the other one spoke Arabic, right?
Yeah.
So like the military guy was doing like weird, silly things. He would put a shoe on top of his head, and then she would laugh so much, and then they would do that. I'd be like, you don't need words to make people smile. So some corny
Oh
shit like that.
God.
so yeah, maybe you can figure out some chat roulette and be like, talk to some university students over there, like, hey,
I think I'll just explore Reddit for now for the
Yeah.
first time. Yeah.
Just so you don't have to.
you're not gonna catch a random penis that way.
Yeah.
They were everywhere. Like every second one
Really?
is every second to
Oh,
third
boy.
one. I mean, it's remarkable. I stayed on there as
Oh
long
no,
as I did.
I'm not ready for that trauma. No way.
No, it is
sir.
traumatizing. It's like, wow, what? Huh?
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
No segueing into that.
Yeah.
No, it's not. All right, so we'll talk about some meaty stuff. You have been nominated
Oh yeah.
for Artist of the Year by
Fun
the
times.
wonderful people at Max, or the Max organization. I don't know what to call them.
Yeah.
Max.
Max. Yeah.
Super fancy.
Yeah.
Right? They write their stuff in gold.
Yeah. True.
They have writers. It's not just some random like, hey, we have a publicist who's gonna write this out. They have-
They
go
write
super
copy.
pro
Yeah.
They write copy.
Yeah.
copy.
Madmen.
Oh my.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
freaking amazing.
Yeah, it was I didn't know, I had no idea, like, because I still don't know who nominated or anything
I
like
do.
that. But you know who nominated?
I can't say.
Oh my God.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I know somebody did though. My wife is an executive.
Yeah,
Okay,
of
yeah.
So I
Max.
was like, oh, she's on the list. We got to have her on. And she's like, and I of course don't know. Like, I don't even think my wife knows what the numbers are, who's voting. She's like,
Yeah.
you put her on there. We had like an unprecedented number of people log on to the website. And I was like, all right, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, no, but like, because the other artists too have like a really big following.
Mm-hmm.
Tamaj and Yassine and Ayman, they're also great.
Yeah.
And but I don't know, like for me, it was so big because my mom is like ashamed with like anything to do with comedy.
The way how you say comedy, the way how she says comedy,
Oh
the way
yeah,
how you say
I'll say it. So she goes like I was like, my sister Noura is like dying because Noura and I were on the founding executive team when Max first started.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah, so but even then it was so big and there were so many teams and it was so legit that you have no idea what's going on in like different departments and different areas and stuff. And then I left it afterwards because I was like doing my master's and stuff. And then when I did comedy, I dropped like everything because I was like, I have to focus on this and stuff. And then basically, so then when I got nominated, my sister was like so excited, like so stoked. She's so happy. And then she said it in front of my mom. So she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you got nominated, whatever. And then she told my mom, like, Salma got nominated by Max, right? Yeah. And my mom was like, she was like, Masha Allah. And then I was like, what do you think I got nominated for? And she was like, comedy? And I was like, yes, mom. Like, there's nothing else I'm doing in the community that's impressive. And then she was like she didn't know what to say. Like, she was in between like, may God guide you, but also like, mashallah, but also like she was so
That's
confused.
so awesome.
Yeah, so I was just like, I feel like if I were to win this, my mom would be like, all right, man, everybody is telling me this is right. So when the only time I ever performed in front of my mom was at International Women's Day last year for the Federation of Muslim Women. They had a gala.
Right.
And it was just coincidence. They booked me and my mom's school, like the school that my mom and my sister are part of, bought a table.
Yeah.
So they were coming and it was just like, and I was like, well, I'm performing. So it was the first time she saw me And I did like 20 minutes. I was like, all right, scrap all the parent jokes, take everything out totally. Anyway, so I go up, I do it, and everyone's just dying and they love it. And then one of my mom's teachers, who like she really loves because she's a convert totally. And like, like I know, but no, she loves all her teachers. But then she was just like to my mom, she was like, oh my God, Sister Him, your daughter's amazing. She was like, your daughter's and your brother and like your son and this and that. She's like, your whole family, all your kids are so incredible. Yeah. And my mom just had this realization, like, you mean to tell me that my kids are not trash? Like, it was her first time really thinking like, my children are not trash. Like, she was so shocked, because it's different when someone's like telling you like, oh, it's not about like your mom's amazing, you're like, yeah. But they're like, no, like objectively, your mom, like from the community, your mom is amazing, and you're like, really? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's hard to see your family members.
I think
in
you
that
should
way.
do more shows for your mom's friends.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing. You got to convert her inner circle.
100%. You're right. And then basically, like,
you got to do a show for her grocery store that she buys her meat from. You just got to get into her circle.
You're right. So no, but then when I started to help out at the summer school, every teacher that would come in would be like, you're the comedian, right? And then my mom goes like, ugh, like, yeah, did Araf. She said something like, not yeah, did Araf. She's like, yeah, did kusuf, which means like, oh, woe to us, the embarrassment, something like that. Like,
wow. It's so classic.
I know, so
classic.
Yeah.
Woe to us. It's like something Shakespeare would write about embarrassment.
Totally. And I'm like, okay, mom, low-key, they're all like so like excited and whatever, but they have to like hide that from her. But then, so that was like the first day where it was like real. I could see her like in a daze, like in this like limbo, trying to like reevaluate like her life and her decisions and stuff. But then yesterday I went out with her and her friend, and this friend of hers, like, she was my Islamic studies teacher growing up, and she's like one of like probably the best role models I ever had, like in my life and stuff, and really close with her and her whole family and all that. Anyway, so when I first started, but they moved to Dubai. So when I first started comedy, she would message me and say like, how are you? And she's like, I'm just like a little concerned. Like, I saw this comedy thing, whatever. And then like, and she kept doing that. So then I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't want to get into anything with her. Like, I don't want to get into an argument, or I don't want to whatever. Yeah. But at the same time, like, so my go-to thing was just like to ignore it. Like, I didn't answer it. And then one day my mom was asking me, as what every mom does, to like back up her iPhone or help with something, whatever, message this person on WhatsApp, right? So then I was like on her WhatsApp, and then I saw her like messaging this particular friend, and I fully clicked the conversation and read through it. And she was basically like, she was like, tell her and whatever. And she says this and that. She's copy pasting messages that I'm sending my mom and my dad about comedy, and she's like putting in the script like, now she's saying
your
this.
Mom knows how to screenshot?
Yeah, no, it was copying messages or forwarding messages.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wow, me and my friends like send screenshots of guys. My mom sent screenshots of her daughter rebelling. It was so funny, and telling her like, talk to her, say this, whatever. So then yesterday my mom was like, I want you to go like come out with me and her, which I love to do. Like, I love to see her. I get along with them so well and stuff. So, but I told my mom, I was like, this is really strange. Like, why are you really insistent on me going out with you two? I was like, if this is a comedy ambush, like, I'm not having it. And then she's like, no, don't worry. But then she ended up asking me about comedy anyways. My mom was like, she thought this was an ambush, like whatever. And then
I like how your mom's accent changed.
Yeah,
she almost spoke no English a second ago, and now she's like, she thought this was an ambush.
I can't imitate my mom in English because she speaks in Arabic.
Right.
All of my imitations are in Arabic. But anyway, so then my mom's friend was just like, oh no, like, tell me about it, blah blah blah. And she told us about incidents where, like, basically my mom's just, her biggest thing is the places where you go, like, she hates the bars and the underground and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, warranted. And how other comedians are very vulgar. And I was like, true, but like, I can't control that. I can just control like what I do and stuff. And so their whole thing's like, well, you don't want to be grouped with them and all that kind of stuff. And like, what would happen if you die? Like, that typical question. Like,
oh my God, my mom has that a lot.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't get that asked that at all. What do you, like, in what context?
Because it's all
what
about.
What if you die at a comedy bar?
Yeah, because then
because it's all about like, like you get resurrected or something with the people that you die with, this and that, and it's like very like I don't know. It's dark in the sense that
it is dark. I mean, obviously.
So, I mean, like, it happened multiple times. Like, that was the main reason why they sold don't watch movies during Ramadan. because if you die in the movie theater in Ramadan, it's going to be so shameful.
Oh yeah.
Right? That's one. Number two.
But then that could
it
happen
was
at any time.
Non-Muslim weddings.
If I
when
died,
I go
I'm
to a
all-
wedding, go to like a church. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
but what
yeah.
if you die in the church?
True. Or concerts.
Like, do you even
concerts? Anything like
Right. I don't tell them about concerts.
Yeah. Same. But like
Other than maybe one or two situations, if you die, you're not gonna be resurrected with good. Like if you're not at the masjid and you're not at home,
Yeah.
just about any place else,
which
even if it's
answers your
work.
question.
Yeah.
You should just only be at the masjid and not home to my parents.
No.
See, there you
you're
go.
right.
That-
Or helping at
cornered
the
me.
Islamic school.
that
got me.
That reminds me. There's a video of I think where was the Indonesia? Indonesia is where the earthquakes are happening.
Yeah.
There's a video of like an imam in a masjid, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's leading like I don't know
prayer.
Maghrib or Isha, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then after the there's like an earthquake that's happening.
Yeah.
And he like the camera's on him, but you can also see the people behind him, right? And like the whole masjid is shaking. And then
my
there's people
God.
behind there like, all right, time to go. Like he picked up their phones or whatever they had and
And
they
just
ran.
left? Oh,
right?
man.
And he just puts his hand on the wall and just keeps keeps going. They asked him
my
why. He's
God.
like, well, only God can take your soul, so there's no other place to be. So
True.
like,
Oh, he's not wrong.
wow.
No, that was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I would be one of those guys in the back going, live another day.
Yeah,
I'm gonna live
time
to
to
pray
leave.
another day.
Oh
It
my
was the
God.
BBC third most watched video last week. So the funny thing is, there's some other people that are like, okay, like yeah, it's shaking. We gotta go. And this guy
yeah.
goes, just puts his hand on the wall, keeps going. I was like, I like that. I like that he just goes like, oh yeah, the earth is shaking. Got it. And just kept going. Just put one hand on the wall, like just keep going.
Does not stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
There were two people behind him. No publicity for them whatsoever. They're like, we were standing there too. We didn't even have a wall to touch.
Oh
we
my
touched each
God.
other.
Like, you can see their panic though. They're
Yeah.
looking at. They're like.
What's
if
he
the
gonna
imam
do?
goes, we go.
Yeah, if the imam goes, for sure, for sure.
Seriously. They're
For
like,
sure.
go. All right, fine. He put his hand on the wall.
I guess we're staying. Yeah.
It's just for the shame of leaving. Like they didn't stay because they're like, hi, Imam. I'm not questioning the
Yeah,
imam, but
yeah.
they're more of like, yo, I don't want to be the guy who left.
Yeah.
I would love it if the mom's like, we going viral.
Stop.
I'm gonna be traveling around doing imamat everywhere now. Australia,
man.
here I come.
Yeah, you know how people get really famous for doing like something
Yeah.
simple? It's amazing in the context, but then in the greater scheme, everyone's like, okay, repeat it.
Yeah,
It's like, what's he gonna do?
yeah, just-
simulate an earthquake
Yeah,
and
just
he
be
puts
in
his
war
hand on
torn
the wall.
earthquake-related areas.
Yeah, but then
Messi's on Ellen.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Ellen brings them, and I'm like, how are they supposed
She
to
tries to
recreate?
scare him like multiple ways, and he's like, Alhamdulillah. It's like, this guy cannot be scared.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That was-
But yeah, that's actually scary in the sense of like we're going viral. Because to me, that's the scariest thing because I'm like, oh, what are you doing this like good deed for? Like, is it in the acts of like like in the hopes of recognition or like
Right.
or being sincere and stuff?
I knew that if I saw a YouTube video of this exact thing happening with him,
Yeah.
half the comments would be like, friggin' just do it for the publicity.
Oh my God.
Fake earthquake.
Man.
Man.
I want to try that guy in different scenarios, like bear. Are you be just chilling with the bear? If there's a bear around, will you just be like,
Put your hand on the bear.
yeah.
Stop. I can see people like recreating this video.
Yeah,
with,
exactly.
like, all of those
You're
scenarios.
like, homeless guy comes in. We had a homeless guy come into the masjid. That was weird.
Oh yeah.
Masjid Toronto, but
Message Toronto, yeah, it's frequent.
that's a common thing.
Yeah.
Somebody will
I
come in
saw
there.
one come in Message Toronto. You know how like the front is very
tight.
it's super tight, so it's like
in the corner, right? It's in the corner
it's like
of the
so many
building.
men and I'm trying to go in between them to the women's side. So he was like literally yelling at people. He was like give me money, like I want money, whatever. And then everyone's kind of just doing their own thing and going. And he was like, at least answer me, like I'm not a dog. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This sounds like we're being raised like by our parents. I literally like ran into the room. I was like, y'all gotta deal with this.
Your parents yell different things than my parents.
No, but it's like like the act of telling someone off or whatever. It's very much like a. Oh, man.
My mom would just be like, I just want to dig a hole and die in it. That was my mom's go-to. I was like,
Really?
I don't, yeah, it was pretty
Wow, that's-
dramatic.
it's
It
very
stopped
dramatic.
after a while, but I think somebody talked to her. I was like, hey, you can't scream that
Yeah.
at the school.
Mauritians have like another one. It's like it literally the exact translation is send me on vacation.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Send me on a trip, and the trip is like promener, which is like let's go for a picnic. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just gonna go. Like, it's like very light sightseeing, right? He's like, I'm just gonna go to the park and walk around. But like, when a parent tells you that, it's
Yeah.
like you've really let them down.
Yeah.
Send me on a picnic.
Oh wow.
Send me on a
That's
trip.
That's amazing.
It's like different
It's like
ways.
some tropical
Yeah.
threat.
Really make you
I
think
love
about it.
Yeah.
Like a bad picnic?
Yeah.
What have I done? Have I ruined picnics for him?
Yeah. What does this mean?
Yeah. I once saw my uncle, this is a little bit different, but my cousin did something so wrong, I think got a B or something, that my uncle picked up a cricket bat and he swung it and launched him. Like hit him in the pelvis while he was running, and it like boosted him like off the ground at least 5-6 feet.
Oh my
And
God,
I was
dude.
like, well, at least that's not happening at my place. And I
Oh,
really
man.
realized there were levels to this.
There's different
Oh
levels.
yeah. There's definitely levels.
Yeah, we didn't get hit too bad.
Yeah.
My mom, when she would throw things at us, you can tell like she was trying to mess.
Okay.
Like the slippers and like the random things that were flying were just off by a foot.
Yeah.
Man, my
That's true. My
parents-
mom was a thrower too.
My parents just had no energy for me at that, like, because I'm the youngest.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're
Omer
just
got
like,
that too.
"Bruh,
Yeah.
like somebody raise her. We're over this.
Yeah,
that
we're
was
tired
my
of
mom,
this.
for sure. Yeah.
Same.
Oh,
Omer
no.
got me and my sister got the crap beat out of us.
Okay, yeah.
And by the time Omer came around, they were just too tired.
Yeah.
They were just like, my mom literally, I remember this when I was 4. I remember this because I did something stupid, that I was running from her in our living room, which
Yeah.
seems huge in my head.
Yeah.
And she was like, you ran over there. You don't think I can come over there? I can come over there too. I remember her yelling this at me, and then I'm running around. But by
Turned
the
like a
time,
gangster.
yeah, by the time Omer came around, they're like, can you go hit him?
Yeah,
Like he's over
totally.
there.
Someone just-
Start delegating
Can
the
I throw
beating.
you at him, and then you just flail?
it was good and bad for me in the sense that like my parents were loosened up on so many things, but it was bad in the sense that where my siblings did the majority of the raising, and they just have zero patience for you because they're like, I didn't sign up for this, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Also, they have zero of
Rightfully
the
so.
affection and like love that like a mom would have towards
Right.
you. You know what I mean? And so they were. It was just so me. It was just like brutal.
Jeez.
Like yeah.
I put Omer in a closet. No, my sister put Omer in a closet once and unlocked the door.
Oh man.
Because she was asked to watch him. So she just
Yeah.
put him in the closet and locked the door. Like 3 hours. He still remembers. She came here last year. He's like reminded her. Like, remember that?
Yeah.
That's funny. He's like 27, 28
That is
now.
traumatizing.
He's still working
now.
through it. He's still working through it.
So when he was 7, he remembers that.
Isn't it crazy how like these little things that you don't remember at all just like shaped this person's upbringing
Yeah.
/ perception of themselves?
Yeah. And then people will say like, yeah, my mom hit me and I turned out okay. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know if you did.
Yeah.
Do you know if you turned out okay? That's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
opinion of okay.
Or like how I'm literally a proponent. I'm like, every single person on this planet should do mandatory therapy.
Yeah.
Like to work through
100%.
their
Yeah,
subjective
100%.
trauma. And I'll tell my parents this and they're like, therapy, just pray, right?
Right.
And I'm
Such a
like,
Muslim
oh
thing.
my God. I was like, you have trauma. I sit down, like start to unpack their life and they're like, get out of this room right now. Like,
I like how you don't disengage. Like you know
never.
you're gonna not win that argument,
Oh,
but you're
no,
like,
no,
wait, no,
I'll,
hold
like-
on a second, sit down.
yeah.
They can gone through like refugee situations, like super traumatic things.
Yeah,
and they're
they're
like,
like,
nah.
it's fine.
No, it's
Yeah.
fine. Shake
Couple
it off.
knuckles. Couple
Yeah.
knuckles.
Yeah.
Couple of knuckles.
Well, because it's just like triple. It's just so hard for them to like uncover that trauma. It's just way too painful. And so it's like, for example, okay, I was looking into this program downtown. I'm like, how do I find free therapy? This is like what I do. Like people are looking for.
I also like this action when you're talking about how to get free therapy.
Totally.
Like it's some sort of like fun thing you
Yeah,
get.
I know
like
for
bubble
real.
tea.
Literally, that's me. I'm like, where do I find coupons? Like for
therapy.
self.
Is there a
Is there like a
Groupon?
student that just came out of school that I can talk to?
Totally.
Some
So
haircut situations like student therapy shop and then
Level 1.
startup therapy.
bunch of couches, just therapists
Yeah.
sitting like,
Yeah.
this one, you want to come here and talk to me?
Yeah, so I was like looking into, and I talked to Zainab and stuff,
Right.
and I was looking into programs, and I saw that there was one downtown. It was like a brief psychotherapy for women as part of the women's college.
Okay.
So it's like 16 weeks of like 60-minute sessions, something like that. So I went to the orientation, and they in the orientation are so strict. They have such a rigorous selection process for you to even be able to do this therapy. And this was their thing. They were like, you have to fill out a questionnaire so they can screen you. And it was like, if you have any sort of disorder, like eating disorder, depression, anxiety, like any level of mental illness, whatever, if you've been clinically diagnosed, if you're currently going through something like an eating disorder or depression, if you are in an unsafe like relationship or situation or whatever, you don't qualify. They're like, this is not for you. This is not a crisis therapy service. This is like strictly for like privileged, like people who are just chilling, having a great. I was like, that's perfect. That's me. Like just who are super safe, everything's going well for you.
Yeah.
Only then can you qualify for this, because then they're gonna like dig up your trauma and then help you like heal through it and stuff. But anything else that's like crisis emergency, they're not equipped to deal with
trauma
that.
they can dig for. They don't want surface
basically.
trauma.
Yeah, they're like, we're going deep. And but yeah, anything else like that's more severe if like you're in the moment experiencing a really difficult time, they'll forward you to like another therapy
If you
service.
get a therapist, try your material out with a therapist. It's the best experience ever.
Actually,
I have like
have you
literally.
done this?
Oh yeah, I did my full set for a therapist in a conversational way.
Actually?
just to see how it went. And at the end of which I was like, "So what are your thoughts on today's session?" I asked him, and he had a bunch of opinions. We're like, I think a lot of your he basically made me feel like I have an impossible time dealing with trauma of any sort, like we were refugees and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's why your brain will turn even the subtle of nuances into jokes. I was like, that makes sense.
You mean humor is a defense category?
Yeah. I was like, damn it, he really nailed that shit on the head, because half of this stuff isn't funny by nature.
100%. But like the best thing about comedy is that comedians know it's a defense mechanism, and they'll go up on stage and be like, yeah, so instead of a therapist, like I'm here, or they'll say, or sometimes their jokes will become too real, and the audience gets concerned, and they're like, I just can't afford a therapist.
Right.
Like, that's why
I've seen that a few times.
Yeah.
He was like, that was one of his things too. Is like going through all sorts of stuff. He's like, it's like on stage.
Oh, 100%. Like for me,
cool.
the best things are like what's like consuming your mind. You're like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how to deal with it. Yeah. I'm just gonna turn it into a bit. Right. Like that's
what I find about comics. That's my favorite thing, is that, you know, when you're doing other things, and you've you know done so many eclectic things in your background, and you as well. Yeah. Like you can find like similarities in people that do similar things in comics. I'm like, you've been through a lot of random things that you don't know how to actually elaborate on, other than when you get on stage. You can't communicate your emotions other than if they're draped in humor. And that's where you talk about the darkest shit on stage.
Yeah.
And it's still funny.
It's so true.
Or for some other people, like, I'm going to start building a drone. That's how I dealt with it.
That could also happen.
Like, I'm just going to do this random thing.
Yeah, it's like whatever you channel or bury yourself in. Yeah. For sure.
Oh, man. So there's something good, still on that little topic over there. Even if you can only do, let's say like you only have benefits that gives you only 4 sessions, let's say. Still do the 4. Even though you don't have anything, like maybe you don't have anything in the forefront to work on, but you still get it for free because, you know, you're covered by the company.
Yeah.
Just do your 4. And what happens is that it kind of primes your mind to be a little bit more self-aware. So like even like further down the road, 6 months, you're not talking to a therapist, but like it allows you to be like more like, oh, I'm doing this because of this other thing. Like it kind of like trains you to think with certain ways.
Get your own patterns. And
exactly.
stuff.
Right. So like sometimes that is enough. I mean,
it's like you don't even know about yourself, and then after you do therapy, then you start to realize these things. And honestly, it's still so taboo. Like I understand my parents, I always talk to them, but among my friends, like if I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do therapy or whatever, they're just like, is there something wrong with her and stuff? And I get into these discussions a lot with them where I'm like, you should like they're like, you should just always bury your feelings. It's better that way because you're moving on, right? This is like your way of moving on. Otherwise, it's too painful. And I'm like, yeah, but then you're not fully healing, and you're not able to like be in like full presence with you're not in like the capacity to be able to receive things fully in the future if you're not totally over the past and stuff. And then one of the best ways that I heard it explained was that it's kind of like a swamp. Like things come to the surface, you clear it, more things will come to the surface, and you just have to keep doing that until like hopefully you get it all out, and then you have a much better understanding about yourself. Like me right now, I know, for example, before I would be like so excited about something and then so devastated and so this and that. I would go through like this plethora of like emotional roller coaster, and I don't know what caused it and what started it and what the source was. Nothing. But now I'm like, oh, how come I'm feeling this way? And I'm like, oh, it makes sense because you like thought about this person today, or you did them a favor, or you like were expecting them to come, and so it makes sense that you're now like a little sad that they didn't come to your show or whatever, something like that, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay, now that I know that, it's not that big.
I feel like it gives you perspective. Like I didn't have perspective. I was reacting to things.
Exactly.
You can do pretty well reacting to things, but then once you realize like, why am I having this emotion, and you can actually pinpoint that, oh, I have certain things that make me feel a certain way.
Exactly,
and some of those things are way past, you know, I'm reacting to things that might have happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, it's actually detrimental to me to get too happy about something or too sad or too attached to these things.
Yeah.
What you'll notice is that just because there's a slight age gap, as you get older, by the time like you get to be like in your 30s, you're gonna like most of my friends at this point understand the benefits of therapy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I remember back in the day, it was like, oh, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, even if nothing's
Nothing.
wrong,
Literally
Yeah,
nothing
that's
is
the
wrong.
guy. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just want to get a better handle on myself and
right.
how I
For
feel.
I
sure.
feel like life, even if it's solid, it's nothing's crazy going on, I still need somebody to talk to, just
Yeah.
to like defragment every now and then.
True, yeah. And like I was trying to explain it to my friend where they were like, I was like, everybody should do therapy, like just everyone. And they're like, what good would that do or something? I was like, everyone's at a much better like state where they know how to express their feelings. They know why they're feeling the way that they are. It's like when a little kid is so upset and gets mad and starts hitting people or starts yelling
Right,
and screaming.
biting.
You're like, use your words. You
Yeah.
sit with them and you're just like, what are you feeling? Why are you feeling the way that you're feeling? Like it's just the adult version.
I can give you a recommendation just because going back, I could tell
Yeah.
you were into the coupons. This is
it.
what you got to do. When you call a therapist, first conversation, just so you let them know, is like, hey, is the first session free? Just want to know before, because I really want to make sure we have a good connection.
True.
Because I want to do this for a while.
Yeah.
And then you do like 6 free sessions with 6 free therapists.
Love it. Get like 6 different perspectives.
Because I talked to Zainab as well, and she's like, "You got to connect with him." And I no joke, had 5 first sessions, and
Yeah.
then went with my guy.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just did 2. I was okay on by the second one.
I was having some fun with him, man.
Of course you are.
They're
Of
all in the
course you
same
were.
area. Like, I'm gonna take
Especially
the
if you're in
Uber at
Toronto.
lunch.
Especially if you're in Toronto, you can
Every
hit up a
lunch
lot of them.
for a week, I would see a new therapist. And
That's actually so fun.
It was
But-
fun. It was fun.
My only thing is that I talk so much and there's always so much to like go through that I'm like, there's no way I can get through a quarter in like one session.
That's
so
true.
I need
You
to
need-
see this person regularly.
I feel like
think
you would
you
bring a
need-
PowerPoint presentation
Oh,
to your
100%.
therapist.
That is me. I am.
We have a lot
so
to cover.
extra.
I've organized it here.
Totally.
There's no
Let's
flat
start
screen? What's
from
going-
the
Let's
top.
start here.
Yeah.
Father. Baba
Totally.
is like this. Mama is like this.
Yeah, it goes through like their lives. Yeah.
What do you call your parents? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, Mama and Baba.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
standard.
Standard.
What is
yeah.
yours? Just for people.
Mama and
Mama?
Oh, I thought you
And
guys
Papa,
say
right?
me. No.
No, I said Mama.
Oh, okay.
And my dad is Papa.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he
yeah.
almost was a Baba.
Oh, really?
Almost. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baba's.
Mine's Manpa.
Mon, Pa.
Manpa, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you went. Well, I guess it's culturally what's
Frenchish,
yeah.
right?
Is that?
Manpa, yeah.
It is noises,
Yeah.
right? That's what we do.
True.
Kids like, hey, what's the noise you can make with your mouth since it's not developed? Pa, done. This one's pa. This one's ma.
Oh my god, my nieces will ask like the cutest things where they'll be like, "Was Mama's name Angie when she was younger?" Or they'll be like, "What was her name when she was younger?" Or something like that. And then
It's adorable.
yeah, they always say, or like her youngest son will just be like, "Angie," and we're like, "Who do you
That's
think
so
you're
funny.
literally one? How are you know what I mean?"
That is so funny.
Yeah, kids are so much fun.
Yeah, kids are crazy.
But yeah.
I went to a party with 3 kids yesterday.
Oh my gosh,
It's ridiculous.
like a birthday party or what was
Yeah,
it?
it was a birthday party for one of the dads. But you know, as you get older, like first all your friends are getting married, then all your friends are having kids, and all your
Yeah.
friends are dying probably. But this one was the middle one.
Okay.
And these kids were ridiculous. Some of them would say crazy things. Most of them were babies.
Yeah.
And they were just running around like pulling pants and stuff. It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
That's been like my whole entire life, just because of how many nieces and nephews I have.
You got a
that-
big family here?
Yeah, we like just my siblings. My
I just
immediate
know that
family.
like your immediate family is tanks. That's,
Yeah, they're-
that's all I've been told.
Yeah.
I have like 15 nieces and nephews right now.
Holy.
Yeah, so every Sunday I'm just so unfazed by like kids
So many
screaming,
kids,
yelling,
yeah.
blah blah, doing this and that. It's just so normal for me. But I can tell like people when they haven't been around kids and it's just too shocking.
Yeah.
And like everything that goes on. Yeah, it's just like a zoo, like at and then when people from outside visit us, I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that like the background noise was just like
loud.
75 kids screaming like full volume.
It's like, and then your house is always like, it's always like a club where you got to lean in to talk.
100%.
So much
Because
noise.
it's all the kids plus all the side conversations going on with the adults.
You know
It's,
what's so
like, nuts.
interesting? Because the way I grew up in Pakistan was 6 families on top of each other, like, you know,
Okay.
uncles, aunts, all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I came here, I was going out with a girl, and she was a onesie. She was just this family had 1 kid,
Okay.
and she came to visit my house just once. And
that's
she was like, "You
overwhelming.
got my house is 5 people.
Yeah.
You guys are so loud." And I was like, "Really?"
This is like the quiet.
Yeah, and then I realized I'm like, oh, you're a solo. You
Yeah.
have no idea how people communicate in a house.
That's-
Oh my
like we're
Yeah.
just yelling each other. Like I could be in the basement, mom could be on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, and they're
like
screaming.
ma, you
Yeah.
know, like you're just yelling through a door, through
Yeah,
the stairs, like it's
totally.
getting there.
Totally. Totally.
And
Yeah,
she
that's
was like-
that's been my life the entire time. There's only 3 people in this house.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so true.
And it's always quiet.
it's always
Yeah.
quiet.
When I'm in Mauritius, and this is the thing, when I'm in Mauritius, it's like the whole compound's got 5 houses,
Right.
Okay.
all aunts and uncles, and then all kids.
Yeah.
Everyone like is exactly the same thing. I have to take breaks.
Yeah, because it's probably so socially overstimulating.
For me, it's like I'm like sometimes I just like I feel very uncomfortable right now, so I'll
Yeah.
just like take a walk.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta like sit by myself, or like I'll go into the room and sit in the bed and just do nothing for
So
like
different
5
here.
minutes.
For here, it's 2 people who literally go like, "We're doing a podcast," and just be dead silence for an hour. And I was like, I can't imagine that in a full house.
Oh yeah, no, that's way.
No.
Oh, if I ever get like and we're only 4 people in my house right now. But if I ever get like a phone interview or I have to talk to someone
Yeah.
like whatever in some professional setting, I'm like, I just know
Mm-hmm.
my mom's gonna barge in and be like, Salma, what do you think of like these hijab? Or like, you know what I mean? She's gonna be like, Salma, can you clean your room? And I'm like, Mom.
I like that she goes, "What do you think of these hijabs?" It's like,
That's so my mom. That's like half of our relationship is just like picking out clothes that match. Yeah. So,
hilarious.
but anyways, yeah. Speaking of my mom, so the Max nomination was like really big in that sense.
Mashallah.
I don't know if she'll be at the dinner, but yeah, like if I do end up winning, it would be really big
Right.
for her
Yeah.
because I'd be like, see, I'm not a
Hey,
disgrace.
bring her.
Yeah.
This
I,
time
Pay the extra whatever
Yeah, yeah,
$700 it is. Just bring her.
I don't know if she's ever been, but yeah, I think it was.
This time I'm coming because
Yeah.
because of that, because of you. I've been like because Sayed, obviously his wife organizes it, right? So
Yeah,
Sayed
yeah,
goes all
yeah.
the time, right? And he's had a couple
the time.
couple great stories. One of them trying to help a blind lady up the
Yo,
stairs.
I almost. Do you know about this?
No. What
right,
happened?
I forgot her name.
Let's finish this. Let's finish the
I
podcast with
forgot
that
the
one.
lady's
Okay.
name. But she was nominated for something. She was nominated for Woman of the Year.
Oh, Rabia Khidr probably.
There we go. That one.
Yeah.
All right. So this lady, mashallah, sweet lady, right?
Yeah, she's great.
So I'm sitting in the front with my brother. We're just making jokes, just winding down.
Yeah.
It's the main categories. My wife comes running down the little stairs. She's like, "Hey, Sayed, I need you to take this lady up the stairs. She's about to win." I
Yeah.
was like, and I look back and she's obviously, she's blind.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, I'm looking at those stairs and I don't think I'm the man to take her up those stairs," right? Because these are narrow stairs
Okay.
and no handrails.
Yeah.
No hand. And I'm not good at guiding blind people. I've never done this in my life.
Right?
Okay.
I'm ill-equipped, right? She's like, "Sayed, look at my heels." Looked at her heels. And apparently she didn't say anything else after that. That was her whole argument. Look
You
at
were
my
like,
heels.
is this an answer?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And she's like, "Yeah." Oh. And then they called her name. So I couldn't even have a backup. Like, "Omer, please."
Yeah.
So
Have a trial run.
So I go ahead and I was like, "Assalamu alaikum," right? And she's like, "Assalamu alaikum." I'm like, "All right, let's go." And I was like, "Here's my hand." Like, I'm like trying to get her to grab my hand. She does it.
Yeah.
So I have my hand behind me, so she's grabbing and she's coming up. Except the problem is, this thing is this narrow.
Not enough space for both of you side by side.
Definitely not. And she doesn't know how narrow it is. So she's walking behind me, but she's a little bit to the left.
Okay.
So we get the first step. There's only 4 steps. First step, okay. Second step, she's right on the edge. She doesn't know she's on the edge.
Yeah.
Why don't you just like motion her a little bit?
She's behind me.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
can do this, and
Yeah.
she doesn't know that this is only this wide.
Yeah, yeah.
The third step is in midair. Like,
No, stop it. I'm
Oh, no
stressed
joke.
out.
And I can hear, as I'm taking her up, I can hear the crowd of like 1,000 plus
Like a
people.
hush.
Like you can tell, I'm like, is he gonna drop that blind woman of the year? Not even any random blind lady, the woman of the year.
Oh my god.
So all of a sudden, like my jujitsu technique kicks in. So instead of having my hand behind me, I sneak my other hand. I get an underhook, like get under her armpit. Right? So I'm lifting her. I get one knee on the stage, and I basically lift her to get her foot there, and then I let go. And I'm on the stage,
Go.
and then I get up. And
are you on camera at this point?
yeah, of course, all of it. This is the best part. At this point, I'm so frazzled, but
Right,
we're both on stage,
right.
that I point to the stage to her, like where the podium is. I'm pointing to the blind lady. I'm like, right there,
No.
right there. Then I was
Stop
like,
it.
that lasted 1 second, but then I was like, all right, it's okay to touch it. That was the big problem. Because I don't know if I can touch this lady.
Yeah.
She's wearing a hijab. There's a lot of people
Well,
here.
she's already grabbing your hand and stuff.
I know, and plus she, of course she has to. That's how she gets around. This
Yeah.
is my
Oh, man,
stupidity.
this is why her
there's so
husband
much.
is a hero.
There's
Yeah.
so
He's
much
so
to
good.
like.
Yeah.
Look, man, you only had like maybe 30 seconds or a
Yeah.
minute for you to process all of that. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
lot.
The best part, she doesn't realize anything weird happened at all.
Yeah, yeah.
For all she knows, like, yeah, one step was kind of funny, then I got on stage.
We're like,
He was a little forceful, but I got
Yeah.
you. So she makes her speech. It's awesome. Thanks her husband. Thanks everybody.
Yeah.
And then it's time to get off. And I'm like, we're just going to go side stage.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why couldn't we just bring her on side stage? The side stage, you should just bring her on. What the heck? Why do we have to make me almost drive?
It's like a big fight with you and your wife for like 3 weeks.
No joke. Like the whole walk home, I was like, why did you just bring it off from the side stage? I almost, like that would have ruined a lot for me to drop a lady. Like I wouldn't have been the same for myself. Like I would have
So
no
much therapy.
confidence. Like anytime I go to do something.
This is what the 6 sessions of therapy was for.
Anyways, but
Oh,
alhamdulillah,
man.
if she
Alhamdulillah.
wins this year, I don't even know if she's nominated.
Right.
But like we'll bring her from the side.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a
Jeez.
plan. You have a plan.
I watched a YouTube video on how to guide blind people actually
After that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was all like dogs for some reason. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I mean for a person, apparently.
That was like, oh man, that was like one time I did an interview and I got asked literally straight up. This was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, how does Google make money? And I was like, like, I think they started to make phones. Literally, the guy was like, and then after that, I was just like, how does everyone make money? How does like everything in this world work? But yeah,
funny.
that was you with
Yo,
the YouTube videos.
that
after.
was, I'm never doing that again. Well, maybe I should. Maybe I should face that fear. Just
Yeah.
start like voluntarily guiding blind people.
Yeah, maybe be an expert.
All right.
I'm like, I'm as good as a dog.
Which is pretty damn good.
It's like,
it's a pretty
I am
good.
so good.
Yeah. Okay, so you have a new website that you just launched. That's freaking
Called-
amazing. It's
Does
beautiful.
it have your name in
Just,
it?
yeah, just sendmahindy.com.
Nice.
Salmahindy.com. Wicked,
Solid
wicked
branding.
logo. It's like it's very nice. This is where you can check out where you're gonna be next.
Yes,
Make
yeah.
it easy.
Yeah.
Like this Sunday or Saturday was
Not
it?
this Saturday, next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
But it says there was supposed to be a show this Saturday actually, but which is today, but
Okay.
got canceled
Gotcha.
because of the flooding
Right.
downtown.
Yo, I was in downtown, proper flooding. They aren't joking.
I
like,
saw the videos and stuff.
my elevator was like it was full. And thankfully, nobody was in it, but it went to the basement, never came up. It just like soaked completely.
Oh my god.
Cars in front of my house. I'm on Spadina in front, just dead cars on the street.
Yeah.
Spadina, it's a very busy area. I didn't
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And my work, which is on Richmond, water came through, and it was just like a room of requirements kind of Harry Potter situation where like somebody order rain in here.
Oh my
Like there
God.
was rain coming through the floors, all of them.
That's
We had to shut
crazy.
down for like a few hours and then have like industrial fans. Back to your website.
No, yeah, I wasn't in downtown that day, but I saw all the videos and everything. But yeah, so they said Second City got flooded.
Yeah.
So we don't have a show today. It was supposed to be a storytelling, like
Okay.
comedy as a second language show today. But so that got canceled. So the next one is on the 18th, which is next Saturday.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, on the website I put all the upcoming events.
Yeah, so check that out. That's salmahindy.com. Also, maxgala.com/vote.
/vote.
Go over there. If you listen to Crash and Slow, you're only voting for one person.
Yeah.
Salma Hindy. We're team Salma Hindy.
Yeah.
I don't even know the rest of them. I didn't even Google them.
I
my
did.
God.
They're good people.
I'm
They're not
sure they
bad
are.
They're
people.
really great. They're so great.
Yasin gets like super protective. Like, there's only one person to vote for. Like, some of the other people have good stories too.
There's only totally. Oh my god.
We wouldn't mind if they came on the podcast.
Yeah, he's like, get on the podcast, then
We'll get a
vote for
couple
you."
more people, but probably not before voting ends.
Right.
But it's good.
Yeah,
to
voting
get
ends
exposure.
on
check
the
that out.
15th, which
Yeah.
I think is the middle of this week.
Right. So
Yep.
do not procrastinate. Handle
And
that
it's the
business
day
over there.
after Pakistan Independence
Right.
Day. If you're
True.
Pakistani out there,
And then also your Instagram, Saloma911.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun
All of that.
times.
Okay, Salma, thank
Alright,
you
you
so much
guys
for
are the
hanging
best.
out.
no, it's blast.
Always
Thanks for
awesome.
having me.
Always awesome. All right, people, thank you for hanging in with us. Please like, subscribe, follow, poke, send messages. We also drop off t-shirts. Dropped a couple t-shirts out because
guy.
of summertime. I love driving at night. So like if you hit me up and you're like you love the podcast whatnot, you might get a t-shirt at like 1 o'clock in the morning because I
it.
love driving around.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I didn't know this.
That's what I've been doing.
I let
That's what
some people
my
far away
evenings.
let them know. This kid in Stouffville. Yeah, seems like screw that kid in Stouffville.
Not you, sir. This is where my love ends.
Thank you for listening, guys. Take care of yourselves. We'll be back in a week.